Hello, I'm Robin Feathers, and you're watching Refreshments with Robin. This is going to be a great episode, so hurry back. Hi, my name is Robin Feathers, co-owner of Featherly Guitars and FA Amplification. I've been involved in the music business for a really long time, and I've played a few shows, little bass, little guitar, some keyboards and drums on a rare occasion. Somewhere in the middle of all of that, I did 20 years active duty in the United States Navy, most of it aboard aircraft carriers, and saw some really cool places around the world. Over the years, I've built some really cool musical gear. Some guitars, some basses, some amplifiers, a few pedals, and some other odd musical instruments. At least people tell me that the stuff I'm building is cool. Now, it's just therapy for me. My friend Chris Lewis and I are building a guitar shop where we're planning on building some really high-end musical equipment. And we're doing it just because we love doing it. Most importantly, I've made a lot of really good friends along the way. So here's my chance to show you how really cool they are in a series where we just sit around and we have a relaxed beverage and a conversation. I call it Refreshments with Robin. All right, for today's episode, I have a really good friend of mine, Mr. Mark Kroos, handy. And if you've never seen his show, he does some absolutely incredible guitar work with both of his hands playing multiple guitar parts at one time. It's really an amazing show. Um, Mark, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, thank you very much, Robin. I appreciate it.
What's the beverage for today?
Well, today's beverage, your viewers are gonna dislike me immediately because this is the most yuppie beverage that a person could drink. This is strawberry and peach kombucha with stevia and lemon, and it's absolutely marvelous. I can't drink alcohol.
Yeah,
I haven't been able to for a long time, and
yeah.
so we've got to find other fun ways to do it.
I see no problem with that, actually. I do like kombucha myself. Today, I'm actually trying something a little bit different. I can't drink coffee anymore, so I've been drinking this stuff called Creo Brew, which is essentially it's ground cocoa that you cook it like coffee in a do like the press sort of thing with it. But I'm trying
Nice.
it cold, so this is the first time I've ever had it cold. I usually drink this stuff hot, so yeah, this is an experiment. We'll see how it works.
Do you sweeten it or drink it black?
I do sweeten it. It tends to be very bitter by itself, but a little bit of monk fruit sweetener in there, um, and it actually turns out pretty nice. I'm also using in this. I'm using some vanilla almond milk in it.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I can't really drink coffee for very long anymore. I've been drinking coffee since the sixth grade.
Oh,
Like
yeah. I mean,
I mean,
I was drinking iced coffee way before that other place in Seattle started making iced
mhm.
coffee. We'd go into, after a show, we'd go into Denny's or someplace like that, and we'd sit down. And I'd order a cup of coffee and a cup of ice, and then pour the coffee over the ice. And people were looking at me like I was stupid, but I was drinking coffee 24/7, anytime, any day, and it just got to the point to where old age and acid reflux got to me, so I can't do it anymore. But
Yeah, my stomach
Creo brew
doesn't
is nice.
appreciate it. Yeah. It's I can do coffee for a couple days
Yeah,
and then my body starts saying, "Hey, I thought we've been over this,
yeah,
Mark. I thought, and so I quit again, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago. But
yeah.
yeah,
So let's
we
talk
love it.
about the tour.
Yeah.
How you were only out on tour for about a month, right?
No, it was only about a week.
Oh,
Like
really? I
it
thought
was
it was
a
longer than that.
very short tour. Yeah,
Okay.
it was 8 shows in 9 days.
Yeah.
I haven't done a month on the road since 2019, since pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, it's first of all, this tour was phenomenal. This was my favorite tour in years,
Nice.
frankly.
Nice.
Like it was the most fun I've had playing music in front of people
Yeah.
in since I can remember.
Now your
Uh,
shows tend to be kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of intimate. You have a small crowd that you interact with them a lot more than some you'd be able to do with some of the bigger shows. And I
yeah,
think
I mean,
personally that makes your shows great.
thank you, Robin. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it all depends on the show. Like the one that you were at, like I usually think of it, usually I play somewhere between 50 and 200
Yeah.
is usually what it ends up being. And so like you get much more than that. I don't know. Like, I love playing for a big audience, but it does kind of lack the intimacy in a way. I do find that I have the most fun at the smaller shows.
Yeah, yeah,
I do. Like, you're as an artist, you're supposed to want to play for stadiums and stuff,
yeah.
but man, you ever heard the sound in a stadium? Like, I did a halftime show for the Orlando Magic, and I loved it. It was wonderful to get to do it, but you play a note and then you hear that note like
For 10
about
seconds
2 seconds
afterwards.
later.
Yeah,
Like, it's very daunting,
yeah,
um and yeah, the intimacy of a smaller audience is really, really fun.
yeah. And
I've
it's
al-
obvious that a lot of the people that were at that show of they've been at your shows before because you knew some people in the audience, and it
yeah,
was really fun watching you interact with them.
yeah, I try to get to know folks, if
Yeah,
they're gonna take time out of their day to come and listen to me play. It helps that I like people.
yeah,
I just like people. So it's like if we go, oh, Mark's so interesting because he, plays the guitar, the two-neck guitar and stuff. Cool, but like everybody's got their thing. Like I've been doing it so long that I mean I love it, but I'm doing it all the time.
yeah,
So
yeah,
sometimes it's like, well, I'd love to hear about what what do you like to do in your free time? I love
yeah,
I don't know. A lot of this has really there was a long, long, long time there where I wanted to be, wanted to be famous, wanted to, uh do the artist thing, and to be a
yeah,
musician and
yeah,
stuff. But I don't know. I think a lot of I think one of the best things you can do with your life is empower people.
yeah, yeah,
Empower people to really see the light in themselves. And it's really easy to do that just by showing interest in them.
yeah.
Like it's
Um,
really easy to
in in
to
my musical career, I did a lot of smaller shows myself, and I really like those a lot more. Now, back when I was playing in the band several years ago, I was actually doubly wireless. So I had wireless for my guitar, and then I had wireless in ears. And I just walk around in the audience. I'd leave the stage and go walk around in the audience, go out, sit on people's lap, and tease them and stuff like that, and just have a good time with it. And that I really enjoyed that. You really can't do that with bigger crowds. So yeah, I enjoy the smaller ones as well.
yeah. Yeah, it's fun. Wireless is great,
Yeah.
man. My wireless hasn't worked in years. I don't actually I should be asking you and Chris about this because it's a line 6. I don't know what it is. It's not like the G7, I don't think. But it was great, but then cell phones got an update,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like I can trust it anymore.
Yeah.
Like sound check will be great. Like there'll
Mhm.
be a great sound check, and then people will show up. Those pesky audience members show up with their cell phones, and it'll start cutting in and out, and I don't really trust it anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to get a new one. I just got my first bookings on a cruise ship,
Oh, nice.
which is really, really exciting for me because that was going to be the next thing we did like before the pandemic.
Yeah.
I put together this headliner cruise ship show where you show up, you go on the ship for about a week, and you do 2 shows. And the band backs you, like the
Yeah.
house band. You give them your music, you rehearse with them like for 45 minutes. It's a super short rehearsal,
Yeah.
and then you hop on stage. And so I just got booked for my first ones, but I had actually gotten my initial wireless system for that specifically, but now it's been 5 years since I put the show together.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, the wireless system doesn't work. So long story long, I'm in the market for a new wireless
Yeah.
system.
Um, my wireless system is actually a little bit of an older system, but I always go with the UHF systems. So my in-ear system is a Shure. I forget the model number on it, and then I've got for my guitar, I've got a Sennheiser G2 system, I think it is, and it's got the multiple frequency availability on it, so that I really don't have a problem with noise or anything like that. But
Well, so
if
that's a
you're,
thought too, is that's a thought of just changing the frequency because I
yeah,
can do that on this. It is
yeah.
UHF, I'm almost certain.
Yeah.
Um,
It should
yeah.
have a thing on there where you can search for a clean frequency. And what it'll just go through all the frequencies it has available. Typically, it's like 20 or 30 different frequencies, and it'll just pick the cleanest one. And
Cool.
also, what I do is I go to the FCC website, and it has a list of by location what frequencies are used and what frequencies are not used. So you can actually go in there and pick. Uh, for instance, around in this area right here, there's one frequency, I forget what it is, but it's just got everything on it. There's TV and radio stations all around me, but if you can usually find one frequency, it doesn't look like it's going to be that busy.
Okay. Yeah, this one, I don't know if you can search the frequency, but you can search channel,
Yeah.
which which I believe is just their way of saying frequency. I'm guessing.
Um,
It's not or is it a different
look at
thing?
the manual because sometimes they mention what frequency is on that channel or what channel is on that frequency.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check that because I loved this wireless
Yeah.
system. It was awesome. I love Line 6 stuff.
Yeah.
Like it does, I mean, it Line 6 got such a stigma, right? When they made those spider amps.
Yeah.
Like
I actually
like
had one of those on my last chip and it sounded pretty good. It
yeah.
wasn't like amazing quality or anything like that. For what I was doing on the ship, it was great.
Well, they were marketed to beginner metalheads,
Yeah.
and so that's a tough mark. There's nothing wrong with being a beginner metalhead by any means, but it's a tough market to bounce back from if that's what you became like known for. But
Yeah.
before that, like they were making the Veta,
Yeah.
like that was a phenomenal amp.
Yes.
Like
Yes, it was.
that
Mhm.
was way beyond what
Yeah.
anybody was doing. Like, so I've been really, really impressed with my Helix,
Yeah.
and my that's the floor unit that I
Yeah.
use,
Hmm.
um, and the I think the one thing I'd say about the Helix, like, it's great. It can do everything that I want it to do, but to get the sound that like I really, really want, I've got to work for it.
Yeah.
Like I've got to you. It's got a lot of amps on there that I'm not a big fan of,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's
I
got a
have
few that are really good.
I have an M9 that I've had on my church pedal board for years now. I think I've had that thing for something like 8 years or something like that. And I usually only use like six different presets on it.
Mhm,
I almost always have a delay going, and I have one that's my crunch, and then a couple that are like a whirly speaker and a chorus. And then the last one is, I think, a compressor. Um, but I mean, it's a great unit. It's been pretty reliable. Can't complain at all.
mhm. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
So, are there any people in the music business that you know of and respect?
Oh, yeah, there are a lot of people in the music business that I respect. Um,
Anybody you want to call out by name?
oh, let's see. You know, really put me on the spot there, Robin. It's interesting. It's interesting. Like it really is a funny question to me because I've been so DIY
Yeah,
for a really,
yeah,
really long time.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you're also really self-contained. I mean, you don't require a whole lot of setup or anything like that.
Dude, we
Um,
used to be able to tour in a Toyota Matrix.
yeah, yeah,
Like if we were hard pressed, we could again, but I used to tour with two guitars, a
yeah.
single neck and a double neck,
Mhm.
and my Genspens amp, which is right under the desk
Yeah.
here. Like this amp, oh my gosh, dude, this
Mhm.
amp is phenomenal. Jeff
Yeah.
Gensler, oh, that's somebody we can call out. Jeff Gensler.
Okay.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Gensler ampli so Gensben's got bought by Fender,
Yeah.
and they're not. I don't think they're doing much with them.
Mhm.
But Jeff went on to make Gensler amplifiers, and they're just as good. But like this amp is this amp is so phenomenal and so like it's as much a part of my tone as my guitars are.
Yeah.
Like that's how much I love this amp.
Yeah.
So I hope I've had it for 12 years now, and I hope it never dies on me because I absolutely love this amp. Um, But yeah, it's been kind of funny being DIY in the music business for 14 years.
Yeah.
So I'm my own manager, I'm my own record label. I'm my own booking agent in most cases, except for now with the cruise ship shows. I
Mhm.
have a booking agency, but I don't even play my first one until September. And so within that, there's been a certain amount of like unhealthy not being willing to rely on others and
Yeah.
putting it all on myself in a lot of ways
Yeah.
that I'm kind of trying to bounce back from or to kind of heal in some ways. Um, and so I really like long story long again, in some ways I haven't worked with all that many people.
Yeah.
Like one person who one person who I really respect is my friend Lance Allen.
Hmm.
He's another fingerstyle guitarist. He's out of Nashville. I did a collaboration with him several years ago. It was the we did a cover of the song "Feel It Still,"
Hmm.
and it's my most played song on Spotify. Like it's Lance really did me a solid by doing that with him. Dylan Reich is another guitarist that I've collaborated with, and he's actually probably Dylan, if we're being honest, like as far as like guitar compositions go, he might be my favorite guitar player.
Yeah.
Like Dylan for real. Um I absolutely love the stuff that he writes. I mean I listen to fingerstyle guitar, but it's almost more of like from a research perspective.
Yeah.
Um, Michael Hedges was a huge
Hmm.
influence on me. Don Ross was a huge influence on me.
Yeah.
Lindsey Buckingham was a huge influence on me,
Hmm.
from Fleetwood Mac.
Yep.
I love
Hmm.
Lindsey Buckingham's playing. He's one of my all-time favorite guitar players.
Yeah.
But as far as like listening to fingerstyle guitar, I kind of have trouble doing it these days because I hear everything. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I hear in the tunings that we play in, this isn't like by the fault of any guitar player or anything, but in the tunings that we play in, we're generally dropped. Like the highest we're tuned up usually is DADGAD,
Yeah.
DADGAD.
Yeah.
But when you drop that low E to a C, like it's not going to intonate.
Yeah.
If you're on a fan fret, a baritone, something like that, sure, cool. But it's something that we do. If you don't have one of those guitars, you can still drop that string to a C, and you just got to be cool. Got to be cool with it. Some of those notes are going to be a little out of tune.
Right.
But when I listen on a recording, I hear it. Like I hear it, and it reminds me of my own like of my own shortcomings of not
Yeah.
being able to get that C
Right.
perfectly in tune.
Right.
Um, and so it's hard for me to like really relax when I listen to instrumental guitar music.
Yeah.
I mean I'm not like sitting there judging and going, "Oh, I could have done that better." I guarantee I couldn't have. But um but you hear things when you've been playing guitar for most of your life,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll usually opt to listen to like piano music.
Hmm.
I love listening to stuff that just blows me away in
Yeah.
the sense of no way I could do that. You
Yeah.
know, like piano players just they're a completely different breed.
Yeah.
And so I love listening to piano music.
Yeah. So
Um
I've been
yeah.
listening a lot to a band called Stickmen. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but you ever heard
No,
of
no.
Tony Levin? Uh,
Oh, from wait, King Crimson? Am I
yes, King
Yes,
Crimson.
okay, cool.
Yeah, he's also in a band called Stickmen, and it's a
Chapman
trio.
Stick. Is it
Chapman
like
Stick. Yeah,
a
there's
bunch of guys playing?
two guys playing Chapman Stick and one guy playing drums, and they're really amazing. And that's kind of leads into my next question for you. I was going to ask you if you've ever thought about picking up a Chapman Stick.
I have thought about it. I have literally never played one. I have
Yeah.
never played a Chapman Stick in my life, and I don't know why. Like I mean I haven't sought one out.
Yeah.
I mean, not that they're easy
They're
to find
they're
or
not
anything.
easy to find, no, but occasionally, like for instance, this was shoot, I want to say it was the late 90s. My family was on vacation in San Francisco and we're walking around down on the wharf. And there was this little alley right off of Pier 39, and there was this person sitting there playing a Chapman Stick, and I'm going, what? Why here? But I mean, they were just standing there. It was a street musician, and they were really doing a good job of it.
Yeah,
It was pretty
man.
amazing. And there's
Like,
this couple that I came across on YouTube just a couple of days ago. I forget where they're from. They're like from Croatia or someplace like that. And it's a guy and a girl, or I don't know, it might be Italy. I forget. I'll look them up and I'll send you the link to them. But it's a
oh,
couple, and they do covers of like she did this one video where it's just by her by herself in this odd place out in the middle of nowhere, and she did Little Wing, and oh my gosh, that was beautiful.
cool. I
Um,
love that song. That's my
yeah,
favorite Hendrix song.
yeah,
Like, so the funny thing about the Chapman Stick is like I see guys, I see guys playing that thing where I'm like blown away.
yeah,
You know, like I mean, you've seen what I do and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Like, and so like when I know I know what's difficult and what's not difficult. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I can watch somebody and I can go okay, you know, like cool, great, or like oh that's great and that's really difficult.
yeah.
And some of these guys playing Chapman Stick who are just like it's never caught on, right? Like it's
Right,
never
right.
caught on. Like Tony Levin, King Crimson,
Yeah,
that's that's like the most well-known Chapman Stick player that
yeah.
I can think of.
They've
Like
been around
people,
for a really long time, and it's sad that they haven't caught on. But again, there's a difficulty factor that a lot of people aren't willing to do it, which I think is funny because if you look at some of these gent guitar players that play the 12 string, 18 string guitars,
mm,
I wonder why none of those guys have picked a thing up.
well, I mean there's a difficulty factor to it, but I think it's also that like it doesn't look like a guitar.
Right,
So
right.
it's not relatable to people.
Yeah,
You know, like non-guitar, well, I mean, let's face it, the people that really like that kind of music are probably guitar players. But even people who just want to like connect with it, want to
yeah,
like listen to that person's music, there's something about the guitar that's so relatable where like this didn't quite get it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like this didn't quite make it into the category of guitar
yeah, yeah.
when people see it. So yeah, it's so cool. I had the opportunity to play one in Nashville several years ago at NAMM.
Hmm.
I did a show with several other guitar players and one Chapman Stick player, and you know, he offered, he was like, you know, yeah, let me know if you want to play it after the show. And we just, it was, we were all just having a really good time and we
Hmm.
forgot basically.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, sorry, pretty anticlimactic story there.
It's all right.
But
That was an off the wall question. I was just curious if you ever had a chance
yeah,
to pick one up.
it's a
So
cool instrument though,
yeah,
Robin. Like it really, really is.
yeah. So here, I have to. This thing has made its way into all of the videos that I've done so far, but
Oh, fun. It's a,
this is this is the baby girl. This is Bonnie and Clyde. This is a guitar I
oh
was
yeah,
telling
that's
you about.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yep,
Awesome,
yep, yep.
man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It sits right here next to me, and it's made its way in every one of the interviews that I've had so far. So
Oh,
um,
it's beautiful,
I
Robin. Here,
thank you,
sorry,
thank you.
can you hold it up again?
Oh
Not
yeah,
to
yeah.
don't throw your back out or anything. I'm sure it's, how much does it weigh?
It's about 12 pounds.
Cool. What kind of pickups do you have in it?
These are actually GFS Almacos. Um, GFS makes some really, really good pickups, and they're not
Is
that.
that the company that's based here in Florida? They're out in St. Petersburg. Like I'm gonna feel like an idiot saying this if it's not correct, but is that the Guitar Fetish website?
Yes, 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 yeah,
Okay,
same
all
guys.
right,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah,
Yeah, it would
yeah.
have
As
been
a matter of
funny if
fact,
I were wrong and I just said that.
I ordered some pickups from him, and I got them till like 2 days later. But they make some really, really nice pickups, and they're not that expensive.
Isn't that
Um,
a situation where like don't aren't there pickups set up on a like an 1/8 inch plug system where
yeah,
it's you don't solder?
yeah,
What a great idea. How
yeah,
cool would it be if that were universal, right?
yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, if you open up one of my guitars and like look at the solder job, it's just because I've redone all of my
You should see some of
electronics.
my early work too.
No,
Yeah,
it's awful, man.
yeah.
Like I've got that electric, that Rude electric,
Mm.
that Brian made for me. I got that in 2021, and it's the most gorgeous guitar. I should actually grab it so that
Yeah.
your viewers can see it.
By the way, I promise that I will bring Bonnie and Clyde to the next gig.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, let me show your people my Rude guitars. Like these are my luthier built
Yeah.
guitars, and Brian is he got in touch with me, gosh, back in 2015. He was still in luthiery school, and he said, he'd been listening to my music for a while, and he wanted me to be his first artist when he started his company. So it's Rude Guitars, and this is his Sonoferris model. And the reason I brought it up is because I did swap out this middle pickup and
Yeah.
redid some of the wiring, and it's a
Yeah.
mess in here. So it's this like gorgeous handmade guitar.
Hmm.
It's so beautiful. And then you open up the cavity, it's just like, it's like a 5-year-old got in there.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
this
those
is,
are P90s in the bridge and the neck position on that, right?
yeah. So these may be my favorite pickups, depending on what you're going to use it for. Like, I think I used to like them a little bit better. I'd like to hear this guitar with single coils. I'm really on a single coil kick
Yeah.
right now in my playing. I mean, you've seen my show, Robin.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't use any distortion in the
Yep.
show.
Yep.
And so, like, a humbucker on clean, oh, why are you doing that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's fine, it's okay. But the P90 kind of, if anybody ever asks me to describe what a P90 sounds like, I think it sounds like a big sloppy single coil.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
always think of it.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah,
A little
and
bit more sparkly than a humbucker, but not quite as sparkly as a Strat pickup.
yeah, and they they're really good on clean,
Yeah.
actually. Like,
Hmm.
they really do work well on clean or very, very minimal crunch. And we had 3 P90s in here, and I swapped this one out for this is a 59 Seymour Duncan.
Yep.
And I just to be able to have something to drive with, you
Yeah.
know. So I like it a lot. But these are Fralin noiseless P90s,
Yeah.
and they're the
Yeah.
only P90s I would get,
Yeah.
frankly. Like, P90s are so noisy, and I'm spoiled with like hum canceling, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not the I don't like to bash anybody, but like, if you're watching this video and you're going, well, I tried those Fender noiseless pickups and they sounded terrible, try a different noiseless pickup.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing Fender didn't, yeah,
Yeah.
like, um, oh my gosh, man. Like, I don't know if you're a stickler for like lack of hum, but like for recording, man,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Humbugs me.
gotta be, I love it just noiseless.
Yeah.
And DiMarzio, man, the Area T Telly pickups
Yeah.
are out of this world.
Yeah.
And I've also got Area Strat pickups too.
Now, I would recommend, now I've been fortunate to have met some really cool people in the music business, and one person I got to spend some really decent quality time with was Bill Lawrence. In
Oh, I was
fact,
just thinking about him too.
Becky,
You,
his wife, and I are still good friends. I just talked to her 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and I've got a
I've
couple of
always
guitars
wanted to
coming
try
out
those
with Lawrence
pickups, dude.
pickups. They're
I've always wanted to
fantastic.
try 'em.
Yeah.
Now, was that Wild Bill's pickups? Is that what that was?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, is it still Wild?
Not to be
Yes.
confused with Lawrence USA, different company.
And wasn't there a situation where he had a partner that went off and
Yeah,
like ripped off his idea?
that was Weitzman. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay, so
that's
you
an
don't
ugly
get those.
situation. So yeah.
I was always kind of confused on which ones to get, but I've
Yeah.
heard only amazing things about
The
Bill's pickup.
the
Now,
wild
Bill
yeah,
passed away,
yeah,
right?
he did. He passed
Yeah.
away I want to say 5 years ago now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've only ever heard amazing things
Yeah.
about those
Oh,
pickups.
he was a fantastic guy. I had a couple of opportunities to go sit next to him in the shop when he was designing pickups, and that guy's level of knowledge was amazing. And he did pass all of that on to Becky and Shannon, his daughter. And they're doing a great job with the company. I very, very highly recommend them. And like I say, we are using them in some of the construction stuff that we're building.
Aren't they really reasonably priced
Yes,
too?
they're very
Like,
reasonably priced.
that's
Yeah.
what I thought. I remember looking at them and being like,
Yeah, they're
wow.
about 75 bucks a piece.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try those at some point.
Yeah,
Um, you don't happen to know if they make something that's like a single coil sound, but like in the space of a humbucker, do you?
they do. Yeah. Mhm. It's
Really?
called the L90.
I'm gonna check that out because I like the Sonoferris, this one here. Like, I really am on a single coil kick right
Yeah.
now. Like, I
Mhm.
really, really am.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we might see about swapping those out,
Yeah.
man.
It's called the L90 and it's a humbucker size P90.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out, man.
Well, we're running a little bit low on time here. I set a 40-minute time limit on everything because I'm kind of uh, ADHD and I don't want to fall asleep watching one of my own videos. So
It was by very fast,
it
man.
does go by very fast. Yep. But I have always had a great time talking to you. We've got a few minutes left, but want to start winding it down. So let me ask you this. What words of encouragement would you give to somebody who is up and coming and looking to get into doing the type of stuff that you're doing?
Like, do you mean just creatively or as a career?
Yes, either
Okay.
or.
Well, I think creatively, just do it. Like, learn songs,
Yeah.
learn songs, learn your theory. If you enjoy theory, if you don't enjoy theory, you'll live, like,
Yeah, I've never
like
been a theory guy. I'm a shapes guy. So I mean, I recognize the guitar, the shapes on the guitar neck, and that's how I play, but I don't know the theory behind it.
I mean, that's kind of its own theory too, though. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? The only reason why music theory is called music theory is because somebody powerful said, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is the way it's done now."
Yeah.
So have a system that works for you. I I think that just as far as encouragement, play from the heart.
Yeah.
I know that sounds really stock and everything, but like that's like do it for love.
Yeah. I
Like
100% agree.
life is short. Do
Yeah.
everything for love, like
Yeah.
not even just music.
Yeah.
Um, and as far as building a career in it, it's funny. Like I'm in a spot right now where I don't really know what to do as far as the content goes. That's a word that's really, really popped up over the past 4 years
Yeah.
of like TikTok. Like it reminds me of just like putting out crap for people to ingest.
Yeah.
Not to bash what anybody is doing. Like there's a lot of really, really good content out there.
Yeah.
But dude, I don't get excited about making it. Like I get excited about making art,
Yeah.
and if you can find a way to like there's so much pressure to post every day on Instagram, on
Yeah.
TikTok,
Yeah.
like post yourself, playing the same song every day. And I'm just like, man, I just don't get joy
Yeah.
out of that.
Yeah.
And I've found some forms of content that I really like to do, but I don't want to do it every day.
Yeah.
And so I think what I'm kind of getting to with all that is to to do what you want to do. I just went from doing a bunch of content to then going on tour. And
Hmm.
then I was like, oh, it's easy to forget what this is like, what
Yeah.
playing music for people is like.
Yeah.
With the AI that whole situation, AI can already write a better song than I can.
Yeah.
So like just from a business standpoint, I don't know what's going to happen with recorded music, but I'm not really putting my stock in it. That's
Yeah.
not really where I'm putting my nah, I'm not putting my money on recorded music.
Yeah.
Like I just don't see that going well.
Right.
But one
Right.
thing I don't know if AI is going to be able to play a concert.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know if AI is going to, maybe, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure people like the human connection. And I like to think that there's been enough lack of human connection over the past few years, especially with the pandemic,
Yeah.
that that's gonna be I think that that's gonna be where it's at,
Yeah.
is playing live shows, playing live music.
Well, I will say that
Uh,
with your personality and with your talent, your shows are really, truly amazing. They're a lot of fun to watch. And the way you interact with the crowd and you just kind of hang it all out there. And if I make a mistake, oh well, yeah, it is what it is. Your shows are great.
oh,
And
thanks, Robin.
for the
Uh,
for the audience here, if you get a chance to watch Mark, I very highly recommend you go see one of his shows, and look him up on YouTube, Mark Kroos, Kroos. And I was also asked to remind you to say hello to the lovely Miss Lenore and ask her if she will politely, no pressure, ask her if she will start to get into the mandolin again and do some playing on your next record.
So what I'm actually pushing Nora to do, and not yet because we're still like she is just recovering from tour. Like I've
Yeah,
had a,
yeah,
a few rest days. Like
yeah,
we hopped right into doing things as soon as we got back, and we're older than we used to be. But I really want to get her on percussion.
yeah.
I really want to
Nice,
get her with a snare drum with brushes, and
nice.
she's good at it. She's really good at it. Um, like she's got a lot of musical talent.
Mhm.
Mandolin, what's funny is like with mandolin, I can cover a lot of those parts. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
if I've got mandolin parts like on recording, I can usually cover them on the guitar. And so I'm like, what I could, especially now that I have this baritone here,
yeah,
like this is another Rude guitar. This is a fan fret baritone.
yeah.
And this we've got a low C on here. And
Mhm.
so like it's almost kind of like I've got a real like kind of a whole orchestra at my
Yeah,
disposal with this. So I kind of want to get Nora on snare drum. Um
yeah,
yeah, it'll be fun.
yeah. Well, I'll look forward to seeing her on your next tour. Anyway, Mark,
Let's
thank you
hope
so
so.
much for joining me today.
Yeah, of course, Robin.
Thank you
Thanks a
so
lot for having
much.
me on.
It's been a great time talking to you, and I would love to have you on here again once I figure out how to make this thing work a little bit better. I'm still learning. This is the third episode, and it's coming along, but I'm getting there.
Yeah,
Anyway,
let me know when it gets posted. It'll be YouTube, right?
yes, it'll be on YouTube. Yep, I'll send you a
Cool.
link.
Are you doing an Instagram account too or anything? And
I'm not posting these on Instagram, but I am posting them on my Facebook page as well.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, yeah, keep me posted on that. I'll be excited to see it.
Okay. Thank you again, Mark. And we will see you on the next episode. It'll be posted hopefully in the next week or so. I'm trying to post them about every week, but take it easy and thank you for joining Refreshments with Robin.